Welcome everyone to our school board meeting tonight. We're glad that you could come and join us. We're excited tonight to start off our meeting with a musical performance from the Roy High Jazz Band, and they'll be performing Chameleon, directed by Mr. Matthew Kinney. Go ahead. That was awesome. Thank you for breathing some life into a stuffy old board meeting. That got us going. Well, if everyone will now stand, Kennedy Wixom will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I don't think this thing is on. Oh, okay. Hello there. I will now lead the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. That was awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Kennedy, and let's give another big hand to these guys. That was awesome. We maybe should have just kept him here playing for a while.
I think so, a couple more.
Yeah. Thanks again. Great job. Board, you've had a chance to review the items on the consent calendar. I would entertain a motion to approve the consent calendar. Doug, a second. Jan, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thanks, Board. Let's move on to some recognitions, please, and start off with Kurt Swalberg, please.
All right, there we go. President Widdowson, Board, Superintendent Butters, I am super excited to be here tonight to celebrate one of our marvelous and magnificent teachers, Mrs. Hillary Lundgren. So, Ms. Hillary, if you'd come on up, please. So it was such a pleasure for me to learn a little bit more and spend some time in the classroom in the school with Hillary. Everybody just had nothing but marvelous things to say. I mean, it was like, I just couldn't write it all down fast enough. I couldn't get all the information I needed, so I'm gonna do my best to celebrate some of the magnificent and wonderful things that she is doing. So just to tell you a little bit about Hillary, she before coming to Weaver School District, she spent 12 years as a preschool teacher, and she owned her own preschool. And now she's spent the last 11 years in Weaver School District. All 11 years she has been in 5th grade at West Haven Elementary. One thing that she had mentioned, she says, working with kids has always been her passion, and she couldn't imagine doing anything else. And that's a true statement. There is no place that I could see her being. She's just a facet and a wonderful example of what an amazing teacher is. Also, one of her greatest compliments that she's proud of is her 3 amazing kids, and she's been married for 29 years to her husband Bob. So, and I got to meet Bob tonight, and so I was excited to meet him as well. So, Principal Courtney Geisler is the one who nominated Mrs. Lundgren for this position, and what she had to say about Mrs. Lundgren is an incredible teacher and esteemed among her colleagues. As a principal, I consider myself lucky to have her among our West Haven faculty. Mrs. Lundgren guides her students to success and serves as a mentor to her peers. She is committed to student learning and holds high expectations. And that's exactly what I saw and found. Not only is she doing it in the classroom, but she's supporting those around her and helping all students in her building. As you can see up here, you can see that you have, look at this smile, this instructor up here instructing all of her colleagues up there. She is, when I talked to Principal Geisler about her a little bit, she said, she is my go-to gal. She's the one I go to when I need something, and this is her first year, Mrs. Geisler's first year there, and she says, when I had a question about anything, Hillary's the one I went to. She knows, she has the answer, and she's just an amazing individual. I'm not gonna go through and read all these word for word, but Cammie Reed, one of her 5th grade teachers, is new to the team this year, and basically she just said, Hillary's just taken her under her wing. She has just been amazing. She said she doesn't just love her class, but she loves all students and wants to help each teacher succeed in helping them. She is very educated in the curriculum. She's firm but loving. And she just feels truly blessed that she's a part of the school and be a part with Hillary. Another colleague said, a 6th grade teacher said, Hillary is a highly valued educator and asset to West Haven. She said that she's she is child-centered, she's data-driven, and she's always about increasing the excitement for students to learn. And the counselor had some of her own students that had been taught by Mrs. Lundgren. They just always were raving about that Mrs. Lundgren and how she just made everything so much fun and such a caring, just a caring teacher. And then last but not least, another 5th grade colleague just said it's just amazing how much that she's helped her and helped her grow, and that she's just a positive and helps create a positive culture throughout the whole school. So as you can see here, we have her lovely classroom. And so as I walked in the classroom, I asked Mrs. Lundgren if I could just spend about 5 minutes with her class, and I said, you can go take a little break for just a minute, so I could just visit with them and gather some information. You know what the first thing they said to me? They said, well, how long are you gonna be here? That's the first thing they said. And the next thing followed after, how long are you gonna be here? When is Mrs. Lundgren coming back? I was like, wow. So that just goes to show you how much they love their teacher and appreciate her. You can see that she celebrates her kids through their work, and there's multiple layers of work behind those clothespins, and she is just all about the kids and helping them to show them that she believes in them and cares for them. So one thing that I had the kids do, they filled out a little form for me. They said, my teacher is really good at, and one student said, every single subject. So you're pretty good if you know every single subject. And this is the hard one to live up to. It says, she's really good at being the best teacher in the whole world. She's also good at math and being kind. She's also good at teaching, and the one that I love, making me smile. You know, that's super important, that she makes her students smile. As you can see, again, some of our other students in the front of the classroom there, and some of their other work that they're doing in the class, always celebrating her kids. Some other things, my teacher always tells me to be kind and try new things. One of my main rules is respect. Work hard to try my best. And then this one, sit down. She probably knows exactly who that is. But you know what the funny thing after he said that, one of the comments is that he loves his teacher. So this one I love as well. How awesome I am, and that no matter what, she will be there. Build people up and don't put people down. Never give up. All great things. I mean, great reinforcements to help kids to reach their potential. What I like best about my teacher, I like her. She is very specific and energetic. She is funny and caring. She makes me feel happy and safe. She is kind and loves every student that comes in. She is good at math. So, she does have, isn't one of your degrees?
It is elementary mathematics.
Elementary mathematics. So, obviously she is very good at math. So, in closing, just wanted to say this is a picture of her class when she took them on the field trip to Weber Remembers, and what her students wanted me to really know about her was, we love you, Mrs. Lundgren. And they also wanted to know when she did come back in the classroom, I want you to know that every one of her students stood up and gave her a standing ovation as she came back into the classroom. So thank you so much. We appreciate you, and we are honored to award you with the I Love Teaching Award.
Thank you so much for this tremendous honor. I do have to say, I did tell Mr. Swalberg, I was very grateful I didn't have any pirate clothes. It was Red Ribbon Week. It was Dress Like a Pirate Day when he showed up. I was glad I wasn't dressed like a pirate when he took pictures, but you know, could have been fun. But I am truly, truly touched and honored, and I appreciate this so much. You have no idea. So I have family members here today. I've got my husband, Bob, my mom, Connie, my youngest, Abby, is a senior at Fremont High. My middle child, Colby, is a graduate of Fremont High, and his girlfriend, Emma, she's a product of the Davis School District, but we don't hold it against her. My oldest son could not be here tonight, but my sister-in-law, Amy, and her husband, Eric, are here, so thank you so much. I truly appreciate this, and thank you, Mrs. Geisler and Dr. Watson, for the nomination.
Thank you. Thank you again. Mr. Brian Anderson, please.
I'm not good with technology, so I only have one slide tonight, so I didn't mess up. I'm excited to be here tonight because Miss Amber Smith is a product of Weber School District. She has a lot of her family that has been educators and work in Weber School District, and we get to recognize her tonight as the head custodian of Sandridge Junior High and the exceptional work that she has done there, and people have noticed that. So what I have up on the board is a couple quotes from individuals from Sandridge that wanted to highlight some of the things she has done. I didn't write the whole quote down, I just wrote parts of these. So the first one says, Amber is the best of the best. Another teacher says she goes above and beyond to help our students and faculty. The third, Sandridge is a better place because of Amber's commitment and dedication. And the last is Amber comes in early and weekends to move snow and maintain the boilers to keep them comfortable. Every one of those support what Quinn wrote in his recognition letter, and I'm going to pull a couple parts out of that because, again, it supports what the teachers are seeing at the school. Amber is a shining example of an employee who constantly exhibits a strong work ethic, continually goes above and beyond her responsibilities, and fosters a positive and collaborative work environment. One of Amber's most distinguishing qualities is her unwavering work ethic. She approaches every task with unparalleled diligence and determination. Another characteristic that he noticed here was she not only works well with her peers, but also excels in her supervisory role. Amber is a natural talent for bringing out the best in those she supervises. The last thing Quinn wrote on here, which I thought was a great testament to Amber and the culture at Sandridge, was, I wholeheartedly endorse Amber Smith for this award and believe that she embodies the spirit of going the extra mile in every aspect of her work. Recognizing her efforts with this award would not only be a testament to her outstanding contributions, but also serve as an inspiration to others within Sandridge Junior High. Amber, you are an inspiration to those at Sandridge. People recognize you and see it, and we want to honor you tonight. So I want to invite Ryan and Randy to come up here as we invite Amber to come up.
Thank you. Thank you for my family coming. I'm not a big up in front of people person. I'd rather hide in the background and just do my job. But thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, I'll run.
I just want to say, sorry,
Oh,
Amber.
sorry.
If I could find 20 more custodians like Amber, my job would be a lot way easier. So good. Keep up the good work, Amber. Thank you.
Like I said, closer. There you go. There you go.
Well, I didn't want to get the lanes away.
Who's got more seniority?
she's shaking hands, I will just recognize who she brought with her family tonight. So her mom and dad are back here, Donna and Mike Gauman. And then her husband is right here. James, you want to raise your hand? And then a row of their kids right here.
Thanks, Amber. Matt Williams, please.
Sorry you get to hear from me again, President Whittison, Board of Education, and Superintendent Butters. It's a pleasure of mine that I get to introduce this young man to you. So, Mr. Abe Delabout, would you come up here with me? And Mrs. Mitchell, would you please join us up here? All right, so I get the pleasure of, this is kind of an awkward position right here, Abe. There you go, stay right there. I get the pleasure to introduce to you Mr. Abe Delabout. Abe Delabout is the owner of Coleman Knitting, and he is just a great supporter of Weber School District, and mainly being recognized from Fremont High School and Mrs. Mitchell. So the things that I'll read tonight, I feel like a thief, but I've stole them from Mrs. Mitchell in her letter about Abe Delabout. So Abe is also married to one of our teachers, Mrs. Delabout, who teaches at Fremont, and a basketball coach out there too. So Abe has a deep love of community and has a natural and friendly way of connecting with those around him. He is service-minded at heart. There has never been a time when I have called Abe that he has not been willing to help. Abe's consistent partnership at Fremont and with the district has been pivotal throughout the years. Abe ensures that no student, athlete, or program goes without apparel or gear. When there is a need, he quietly takes care of it, never seeking recognition or compensation. I've known Abe for about 20 years. It started when I was coaching at Bonneville High School, and that is so true. Abe started getting us t-shirts when I took over for Tom Budge, who didn't really allow t-shirts and shorts. So Abe was our first supplier, and I felt like I was going rogue by getting nice Laker gear after Coach Budge. Some of you guys might recognize this time. During COVID, he changed the entire focus of his business and began providing face masks with school logos to every student and staff member in the Weber School District and PPE to local health professionals. During the course of the pandemic, with all the changes from UHSAA to help with social distancing, schools were asked to label stadium seating and provide new ways for parents to purchase tickets to help keep numbers at a lowered capacity. Abe provided all of our signage for our gyms and stadium. He simply wanted to help. What a burden he lifted from our shoulders as an administrative team, as well as for our athletic director. Abe is always looking for opportunities to step in to help his local school. He wanted to help be a part of the solution. Even more so, he wanted to ensure that we had what we needed so that we could ensure that kids could continue to play. He could see the big picture. He was one of our biggest advocates during the most tumultuous time that we've ever faced as educators. And I think we're all glad that's behind us, so thank you, Abe. You'll recognize some of this a little bit. Most recently, Abe, just on the whim, was asked to provide a couple of mock-ups for our new schools. This one was for Westfield, and the two final votes were the Westfield Ducks and the Westfield Longhorns. He's also helped us with the junior high branding and has done so and just been great with all that he's been asked to help. Mrs. Mitchell continues to say, she says, I very proudly recommend Mr. Abe Delabout to be a recipient of the Partners in Education's Award in the Weber School District, not only for his many contributions to Fremont High School and the Weber School District, but also to schools all over the state of Utah. He has been a tireless and generous and generous community partner and has provided countless hours of dedicated service to students and to the greater community. So I'd like to just turn the mic over to Mrs. Mitchell for just a minute.
I think that one of my favorite things about Abe is, number one, how generous he is, like Matt said, but also I think that it's really hard to create an image for your school, create a culture, and then to protect it. And Abe is someone who has been able to help us do that, not just Fremont, but he's been able to help every school do that. And I think that that is really special. It's a gift that he has, and he just does it because he loves it. And I know that he loves being involved. He helped a lot of our kids with their internships for DECA. So not only does he love what he does, but he's passionate about teaching kids about the industry that he's in. And he's just all in, and I love that about Abe. So thank you.
And one last quote from Mrs. Mitchell. It says, "More important than the contributions to Fremont High School and Weber School District is the example that Abe Delabout sets for our community. Coleman Knitting Mills is under the direction of an incredible leader. Great companies don't just exist and sustain being able to do great businesses by happenstance. They thrive when they have strong leaders at the helm." And so, board, on behalf of Weber School District, it's a pleasure of mine to present the Partners in Education Award to Mr. Abe Delabout.
So I wanted to say thank you to Weber School District. It's been my life. I went to Fremont High, I graduated there. In fact, I'm here with, obviously, my wife, Lisa. She's actually a part owner, too. She's actually the majority owner, if you want to know the secret. Yeah. So, you know, she's the brains. But my mother-in-law and father-in-law, my mother-in-law, Kathy DeFries, she was a first grade and special education teacher in Weber School District forever. And then I have Michelle Perry. And Michelle obviously was principal, and she actually was my English teacher growing up as well. So that was a really fun class. We had some good times. And then my beautiful aunt, Linda, she might need to stand because when she sits, she's really short. So, but she was obviously employed by Weber School District as well. And then my mother, she was a Dorothy Delabout. She was a librarian forever at Plain City Elementary. And then my dad and my father-in-law, Gary, and then Mark, they're here tonight as well. So, but I wanted to tell you thank you because what Weber School District does for Coleman Knitting Mills is actually so important to the people who work for us. They all live here in Ogden. And so the money that is spent goes right back into these beautiful families that work and sew for us. And we're so grateful for that. But we're also grateful for the tradition, being a part of something that is so neat and enriched in tradition with the Letterman jackets. I'm sure you sitting up there probably have Letterman jackets of your own sitting in your house, and to be part of that and to keep it going and have that tradition, we'll get you one, okay? That's right. You didn't graduate? I'm sorry.
I was a Roy High alum, but I never could do nothing. I was short.
Yeah, that's right. Anyway, but we're just so grateful for what Weber School District does for our business and for the people who are employed and for being a part of the tradition, so we're thankful. So, yeah.
Come on. It's a Kodak moment. Nobody knows what that is. And you thought your wife was in
So we're just down.
bit. Thanks, Abe. We appreciate everything you do for us. It's time now to have a public comment portion of our meeting. Just as a reminder, we'll offer everyone to take 3 minutes. Please state your name, the school your children attend, your city of residence, and the topic you'd like to address, and then let us know also if you're representing yourself or a group. So we'll go to the sign-up sheet and start off with Mr. Sam Williams, please.
All right. My name's Sam Williams. I'm in Roy City. I have 2 kids that go to Roy Elementary. What was the other things? I'm here about the school boundaries. And I know that many of the board, members of the board have received data related to school safety about the crossing of 5600. But I wanted to share some of that data because I thought it was appropriate to share, to make sure that the public was aware of this data and how safe 5600 actually is at the Hawk signal. I've spent many hours, because I'm a data geek, and I spent many hours researching this data, which is actually very publicly information. It's a great website to look at this. So. But I wanted to share some data related to the 12 and under demographic, and it goes back to 2010 because that's how far back the data goes. Of all pedestrian-involved crashes, less than 1% of them were at a flashing traffic control signal. Only 2 of those were at a Hawk signal, one of which was at night, and 0 fatalities have occurred at a flashing traffic control signal. If you include all school-related traffic control devices, active school zone, inactive school zone, flashing control signal, crossing guard, it only counts for 3% of pedestrian-involved crashes. And 0 fatalities have occurred in a school-related traffic control device. Remember, this is for 12 and under demographic. And this is according to their website, so there could be some misreporting possible. In Utah, and this is for all of Utah, in Utah, all 80% of pedestrian fatalities for all intersections were not at a traffic control device or crosswalk. So 20% happened at a crosswalk where people should be crossing the street. And of the ones that were at a crosswalk, almost all of them were at a 4-way or 3-way intersection. The biggest problem with Proposal 2 is that it takes a good chunk of the Roy Elementary students past 3 more dangerous intersections, the 4-way on 2700 and the 2 3-ways that butt up to that. They take them right through those, which are far more dangerous than the Hawk signal is. I just want to reiterate this, the data is there and we can follow the data. I know it's maybe an emotional decision, but we got to follow the data, and the data shows that the Hawk signal clearly works because there have not been any fatalities at the Hawk signal. So I thank you for your diligence. I thank those who have come out to Roy Elementary to actually watch what happens. It's an amazing process, so I appreciate all those who have come out to watch that and observe that and gather the feedback. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Emily Stone, please.
Hello, my name is Emily Stone. I live between 3300 South and 3600 South in West Haven. My students go to Canesville Elementary and Fremont High School. And I'm here about the boundaries for the junior high. I am representing a group of several people who were unable to be here today. And I also work at Canesville because I love Canesville and it's a fantastic place to be. We are very happy there with our school family. It's awesome. So we are all here tonight because this is the first meeting held after we found out that we are actually allowed to attend. We were told at the public boundary meeting in April that all meetings, except the April meeting that we went to, were closed to the public, and we could only offer feedback through the Google form, which we did. We also made several phone calls, sent emails, and collected over 100 signatures of concerned families within our neighborhoods. Most of us did not have our calls or emails returned. We do not have a representative from West Haven who is representing only West Haven on the school board. We are asking for a flexible boundary for the areas previously in the boundaries for Rocky Mountain Junior High. Those are the areas west of Midland and north of 4000 South. Our area has been reassigned to Sandwich Junior High, which is in a different city than where we live. We are not asking for additional transportation or busing to be provided to families and students who choose a different junior high. Most of the families in our neighborhoods will likely attend Rocky Mountain or Mountain View. Families who choose to attend a different junior high will be responsible for getting their children to and from school, and these students will be respectful, responsible, and good citizens. We are asking for a flexible boundary to be established instead of relying on submitting a boundary exception or boundary variance application for each student. A more formal arrangement like a flex boundary would allow Mountain View and Rocky to plan for students from our neighborhoods to attend their schools, and families can be assured that all of their students will be accepted into Mountain View or Rocky. I am the mom of 2 exceptional daughters who are brilliant students. My oldest is a sophomore at Fremont High School. My youngest is a 5th grader at Kingsville. I have emailed Sandridge's principal several times to find out what opportunities Sandridge provides for students who are well above grade level. My sophomore thrived at Rocky, where she was able to take honors math, accelerated math, honors English. She was in the National Academic League. She was in Project Lead the Way and AP Human Geography. I haven't heard back from the principal, and Sandridge's website does not list any honors classes or accelerated classes. One of my sophomore classmates in AP Bio just dropped the class because it was too difficult. Our students need to have opportunities in junior high when the stakes are a bit lower with grades and their time isn't split between part-time jobs, learning to drive, and other family responsibilities. Creating a flex boundary for our area is a win-win situation. The school board looks generous, considerate, and caring, and our neighborhoods will be able to help our students, families, and community flourish.
Thank you. Thank you, appreciate that. Deanne Chaston, please.
Hello, I am Deanne Chaston. I have been a Roy resident and daily user of 5600 South for over a decade. I have 2 children at Roy High. My other 2 children also graduated from Roy High. In your October board meeting, you had district employees who recommended elementary school boundary 3 after they had personally observed use of the hawk signal across 5600 South. They assured you it was working well, so boundary 3 would be a safe option. I sent you all an email that mentioned this recent observation was a 3-lane road at 35 miles an hour, not of a future 5-lane road at 45 miles an hour. We also heard from the gentleman before me that talked about data. That's what I'm talking about. I would love the data. He says it's working, but nobody has observed it as a 5-lane road. I want that data. What will it be as its future, very, very soon future? A personal observation now is not an accurate representation of the near future. I encourage you to seek the professional opinion of a traffic engineer about the effectiveness of a hawk signal on a 5-lane road. A good point of reference may be 1900 West, another 5-lane, 45-mile-hour road in Roy, where UDOT recently eliminated a non-intersection crosswalk. I'm not sure exactly what's going on there and why the changes are being made, but I hope you can find out, because that is more applicable here. Although 5600 South and 1900 West may be very similar, there's one important thing that sets them apart: the position of the sun for the motorists. One is a north-south road, while the other is an east-west road, with motorists heading eastward into the morning sun as young students walk across 5600 South. I also want to point out a recent reminder of the safety concerns on 5600 South. Hopefully you all received a copy of a picture of a car that recently came to a rest upside down in front of Roy Elementary. Please carefully consider the safety differences between option 2 and 3 before choosing the new elementary school boundaries. And I'm glad that the other gentleman brought up the other areas where people would have to, or the students would have to cross. That these, not just the hawk signal, but those others too. Definitely, let's take the emotion out of this and bring the data in. But let's bring the data of a 5-lane road at 45 miles an hour. And maybe it will be fine. I'm just hoping that you guys can consider that and get the opinion of professionals. I believe the parents need this information as well before they decide that it's safe enough for their young children to cross a road while motorists travel 45 miles an hour with the sun in their eyes. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Nicole Hansen, please.
My name's Nicole Hansen. My two sons attend Canesville Elementary. I'm also here to talk about the junior high boundaries. After months of putting together petitions, filling out surveys, sending emails, where we tried to send solution-based ideas, I'm here hoping to be heard and taken seriously. Considering many of us spend time in the school on a regular basis, I feel that our opinions matter, not only because we want the best for our own children, but because we have also come to care for the other children that are part of our community. After hours of reading with them, planning parties for them, helping them pick out books and learn to count their money at book fairs, and in countless other ways, we've gotten to know them and we want what is best for them. We see them as whole people and a valuable part of our community. Studies show that, quote, academic performance in young people is a key affirmation of future education and career performance. Friends play an important role in academic achievement because they support academic performance, which can be encouraged or discouraged, end quote. In the small area that's being represented, our kids are being asked to forego this sense of community and stability. Our children are not just numbers. The district is preparing for future growth and children that might someday move to the area, but it's at the cost of children who already live there. Junior high is already a really difficult transition, and our kids are now being asked to be a very small minority of students that will move from Sandridge to Westfield High School. They will not get to go through the transition with a strong foundation and sense of belonging. While I feel that the current boundaries that have been announced should be reevaluated, I also support creative solutions that create stability for more students, such as the flex boundary option that was mentioned, or possibly grandfathering children into schools that are currently, that would currently allow them to move through their cones with their classmates. I'm asking that you consider these options and the needs that they meet and the peace of mind they would bring to many children and parents. 2 years ago, my son was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. One of the indicators that helped us get him diagnosed early and helped us avoid a lot of complications was concerns brought to us by his kindergarten teacher. The diagnosis has been really hard on him and our family. He's felt very self-conscious. He has to have continual injections, finger pokes, pump adjustments, and many other things that make him feel very different from other kids. But he's developed an incredibly strong bond with the office staff at Canesville Elementary. I thought that my son was going to have to struggle and always feel like an outsider, but the women and our principal have made him feel like a valued part of Canesville Elementary. He feels like he belongs, and he has not struggled, he's flourished. His peers look out for him. They understand what's happening when his sensors and alarms go off, and I just don't feel like he should have to start over. He shouldn't have to re-explain why he has timers and alarms. He shouldn't have to go through more training. Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate that. Mr. Bryce Lithgow, please.
You all know who I am. I'm in Taylor by New High School. I will keep this short because mine is not as important as what they're saying. I just wanted to say thank you to the board for what you did last time. President, I'm going to call it President Peterson. Robert Peterson, I'm not sure what your exact title is, I'm sorry. Said it was a no-brainer to accept the tax credit, the tax things for the new developments. I think it was more than that. A lot of people would have voted, maybe in different places, might have voted no. So it was good to see the board accept that and look for new ways to increase revenue. So thank you.
Thank you. That's all that we had that had signed up for our public comment meeting tonight. So we thank you for your input. And let's move on now to some discussion items with Mary Jo Williams, please.
President Widdowson, Superintendent Butters, and board members, you're all very aware that last November the board declared a boundary study open for the Weber, Fremont, and Roy School cones to create attendance boundaries for 3 new schools, which will open for the 24-25 school year. 3 elementary proposals were created, and I wanted to remind you that the boundaries for the new elementary school are identical in each of those proposals. I want to speak just a little bit to some additional research and study that has been done since our last board meeting by myself, other district personnel, and by you as board members in regards to Proposal 2 and to Proposal 3. In Proposal number 2, we did hold an additional meeting with UDOT to verify any information about the Hawk signal and what it looks like and what safety it provides for our students. And we also gathered more information about the pedestrian bridge, which they're hoping to have ready to go here next fall, so about a year from today. We did in-person visits and observations regarding not only the Hawk signal, but the parking lot at Roy Elementary School. Proposal 2 will add buses that need to transport students to Roy Elementary, and the parking lot's capacity cannot accommodate this. And so we've had a conversation with transportation about the potential for building a bus loop that would go around the school, take some of the area for the playground to make it so that those buses could safely enter and exit the parking lot. Myself and Assistant Superintendent Hills attended a parent night that was held at Roy Elementary School. We felt like we had been getting a lot of feedback from people who were not necessarily members of that community, and we wanted to talk to that community and find out their thoughts and their feelings. We had the opportunity to speak with over 30 families that night and ask them their opinions and receive feedback from them about the different proposal. What we got was resounding feedback that they want to stay at Roy Elementary, that they would much prefer Proposal 3 as opposed to Proposal 2. And the reason that they gave us was that their students would only have to cross 5600, which was one street. They felt confident in the safety that would be there with the Hawk signal, with the crossing guard, and the pedestrian bridge if they didn't want their students crossing the road down on the ground. They felt that it was more dangerous for their students to cross multiple side streets as they walked to Municipal Elementary. Another piece of feedback was that Roy Elementary is a Title I school, and some of the students would be attending Freedom Elementary, which was not Title I, and they were worried about receiving the same supports at Freedom Elementary as they receive currently at Roy Elementary. As we look at Proposal number 3, there are no additional buses or no buses that are needed with Proposal 3. The enrollment in Proposal 3 also stays comparable to what we have right now, which would allow for boundary exceptions for people who wanted to apply for those. And we did speak with transportation, and they would be willing to provide busing for students on the south side of 5600 and east of 2775. So based on these findings and the additional studies that were done, I would recommend Proposal 3 on a third reading for the board's approval.
Thank you. Sure. Yeah.
And Mary Jo, just to clarify, that Proposal 3 would include the new boundaries for the new West Haven Elementary.
The new West Haven Elementary, yes. Those boundaries for the new elementary are the same in Proposal 1, 2, and 3, but that's what this.
Board, would you, can I just make just a couple of comments? I so appreciate the comments from everybody, and I feel like we've done our due diligence and then some in studying the different roadways. You mentioned study a 5-lane roadway with a higher speed limit. I felt like a loiterer down on Wall Avenue for several days. I studied that one myself personally for several days at different times of the day. Now I realize there's no schools nearby, but it's very highly frequently utilized, and I felt, and I crossed it several times myself at different times of the day, I felt it was very similar to the feel of 5600 and felt very safe on that 5-lane roadway. Cars, I think it felt like the wider the roadway, 5 lanes, cars can actually see what's coming up and start to slow sooner, even more so than with the 3 lanes right now, or the 2 lanes right now. So I just wanted to throw that out to you. The car that was flipped on its top, we did a little research on that too. That was sent to us and it alarmed us, and that happened at 4 a.m. one morning. It wasn't applicable, we didn't feel, to the time frames that we're really concerned about. So I just wanted to throw those pieces in there, but I want to thank everybody for their feedback. We are concerned wholly about student safety, and we have really tried to do our due diligence on this, and we appreciate the feedback. It's been wonderful.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, board, I would look for a motion to approve the elementary boundary recommendation of proposal 3, which includes the boundary parameters for the new elementary school in West Haven.
So moved, Mr. President.
Thanks, John. A second, please. Jan, thank you. Any discussion, board, that we need to take place? Kelly?
Sorry, I just wanted to say this proposal, I appreciate the feedback from the public, from Roy Elementary. We all went down after school. I also got to spend some time 2 Fridays ago with the PTA president with some other parents at Roy Elementary. And so I just want all parents to know this haven't gone into this decision. We've done a lot of with, Carefree or whatever. We've done a lot of thought and research. And also I think one thing that's really was a factor to me in watching this Hawk Light that has assured us of the school safety was having that assurance from Roy City that we'll have potentially up to 2 crossing guards on that 5-lane road, which makes those Hawk Lights even more safe. I live by some Hawk Lights as well, and but the difference to have that crossing guard there makes a huge difference. So I just wanted to thank everybody at Roy Elementary for their feedback.
Anyone else? Okay, those in favor of this proposal, would you vote with aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Wonderful, thanks. We realize this situation with 5600 is huge, and we know it's going to change every day. As the construction goes through different phases, and we're trying to work with the state and with Roy City and everybody best we can to make sure that that's the best that it can be. So everybody keep your fingers crossed on this. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks. We have a few policies. Heidi Alder, please.
Good evening, board chair.
We just need the Kingsville people to go with the superintendent.
Oh.
Yes. The front row.
Yeah.
Okay. We have 2 policies on presenting to you on second reading that we presented last month, and then 2 new policies. One actually is an amended policy and one's a brand new policy. So I'll start with the policies that are being presented on second reading. The first of those 2 policies is policy 4145, school entrance requirements, birth certificate and immunizations. Last month it was presented to the board as a policy that outlined all of the requirements that schools must abide by according to law in order for a student to enter school. We added some components between last month and this month in regard to how a school is supposed to go about obtaining a birth certificate when the parent didn't bring the birth certificate initially. We had some questions over the past month from our secretaries and registrars in elementary schools primarily about what they were supposed to do when they couldn't get a birth certificate. And we had done training around the district and thought since the policy is being presented to the board, it made sense just to put that training right into the policy. So that is the only change from last month's presentation on that policy. Wonderful. And we would ask the board to approve of policy 4145 on second reading.
Okay, board, I'm looking for a motion to approve on a second reading policy number 4145. Janice, thank you. Jan, thank you for a second. Is there any discussion on that policy? If not, those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Okay. We'll go to the next policy that's being presented on second reading, and that's policy 6900, the interpretation and translation services. No changes were made from last month's presentation. This is a policy that memorializes the services that we have in place for students and families whose first primary language is not English, where we need translation services. So we would present policy 6900 to the board on second reading and ask the board to adopt it.
Okay, I'd look for a motion to approve on a second reading policy 6900.
So moved.
Bruce, second. John, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you.
The next 2 policies, one's a new policy, one's an amended policy. presented on first reading. The new policy is policy 8800, entitled Learning Material Selection and Reconsideration. Part of this policy is presented because of a state law that was passed last year that requires all school districts and charter schools to put into place guidelines for teachers when they bring supplemental material into their classroom. The majority of the policy is about the selection of textbooks and curriculum that is presented to the board. We have been engaging in the same practice and protocol for several years, but now it's written into policy. And then, of course, we also have some guidelines for teachers when they are bringing in supplemental material that hasn't been approved by the board into their everyday classroom teaching. We would ask the board to consider this policy on first reading. And yes.
Okay, board, I would look for it. I'd make a motion for the approval of the new policy 8800. Kelly, a second. Jan, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
The last policy that we are presenting on first reading is just an amendment to our current clubs policy, student organizations policy. That's policy 4540. And the only substantive change, there were some semantic changes throughout the policy that don't change anything substantively to the way the district handles clubs and groups, but substantively there were some questions about whether or not a non-curricular club could charge fees for its students. A non-curricular club is student-initiated, student-led. It's not a school-sponsored club, and there was some question with the finance department regarding whether students should be charging fees and where those fees are kept. And so we added a section at the end of this policy governing fees and the maintenance of those accounts if and when non-curricular clubs do charge fees for participation. And that is on first reading that we would present to the board tonight.
Thank you. Board, I'd look for a motion to approve the revised policy 4540. Jan, thank you. Second, Bruce, thank you. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed to that one? Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Heidi.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time on those. Board, we have no further business for our meeting, but at this time we have a need to go into a closed session. This is a strategy session to discuss the purchase, exchange, lease, or sale of real property. Dr. Peterson, will you conduct a roll call vote for us, please?
Do we need a motion first to go to the, and then a vote on the motion?
Second, Bruce? Okay.
Okay. All right.
Keep me in line.
Okay. Kelly Larson,
Yes.
Jan Burrell,
Yes.
Bruce Jardine, Janice Christensen, Douglas Hurst, John Ritchie,
Yes.
and Paul Whittison.
Yes.
Very good.
Thanks, everyone. We appreciate you coming. We appreciate your comments and your attendance tonight. Please drive home safely.